I made a video a while ago that got a couple of views. The point is that a lot of the guides on YouTube aren't telling you everything about making insanely high rates when farming. The setups are expensive, getting Sawdust and milestones also take quite some time. I went through some of the comments and people were claiming that they were making more than 50 million coins an hour farming in gear that was worse than mine. Do I think that's bullshit and they're just LARPing? Yes. This guy doesn't even make that much with a macro. But let's not forget, I'm also a dumbass and I was missing some of the crucial things to help me get my money up. So in this video, I'll share the truth behind it all because I personally locked in, stopped jerking myself off, and now I am proud to say my rates went from 18 million coins to 19 million. Your setup is completely flawed. You're not using a pest box or max traps. You aren't using a hedgehog pet, and also you should not equipment swap anymore. If your setup was actually good, you would easily make 40 mil an hour outside of Fin/Feast. You also said you have a 2 billion setup. My setup is not even 2 bill and it is better than yours, so IDK what you spent those coins on. Honestly, he's spitting some facts here. He's spitting so much, he might be the throat goat. This comment was pretty helpful as it motivated me to lock in and show him who the real throat goat is. In order to stop being a chud, I crafted a suck box for 130 million coins, watched the tutorial, and spent an hour building this cool contraption. I even put 3 max pest traps in it. He's also right that I'm not using a hedgehog pet. Maybe it's because I have this thing here called a rose dragon. And of course, I don't equipment swap, I loadout swap. I use a rose dragon and farming fortune equipment for when I'm farming crops, and I also have a set of equipment and also a mosquito pet for when I'm spawning pests. Lock in, dude. And for how much the setup costs, let's do the math together. It'll be like a cute little date where we can do our math homework. My armor cost 730 million coins, Rose Dragon costed 955 million, 230 million in total for farming equipment, a 94 million coin melon dicer. I also bought a mosquito pet for 180 million coins and I leveled it to 100 for it to be worth 220 million coins. The sock box I showed you earlier also costed me roughly 130 million coins. These are the main things that I used, so if you add all of them up together, I've spent around 2.4 billion coins on this setup. Including a hedgehog pet, elephant pet, farming talismans, attribute shards, and chips, I would be at around 2.6 billion coins worth of farming gear. In addition to the gear, I'm farming 60, spent copper on melon farming fortune, and I have gotten a little more than 100 million Sawdust. With my pest hunter bonus, I get 2200 fortune with 400 melon fortune, for a total of 2600 fortune. With pest spawning equipment and spray, I get 473 bonus pest chance, giving me a guaranteed 5 pests and a very high chance for a 6 pest to spawn. Also note that the farming fortune and the overbloom on pest kills will vary from the farming fortune and overbloom you get while farming regularly. You get a lot more overbloom on pests, but farming fortune shouldn't be too dramatic of a change. Now let's talk about how much money I make per hour. From farming melons with my farming fortune setup, I am getting roughly 20 million coins an hour. I also get roughly 2 million coins from Bountiful Reforge, 1 million coins from EXP capsules, and 2 million coins from Squash. This brings me up to a total of 25 million coins an hour from just farming melons. Adding pests into the equation, let's assume the best and I get 6 pests spawning every 3 minutes due to a variation of when pests spawn. So this means I'm killing pests 20 times an hour. Without a feast, I'd say the average from 6 pests is 750,000 because sometimes you get lucky and sometimes you don't. This brings the amount of money I make per hour pest farming with a 2.4 billion farming setup up to roughly 40 million coins an hour. During a feast, assuming my stats stay the same, on average I get 2 feast items per 6 pests. If they were worth 500k each, I would get roughly 1.5 million coins each time I kill pests, bringing me up to a total of 55 million coins an hour. Now once again, keep in mind that my setup is allegedly 2.4 billion coins, with 2600 farming fortune and 473 bonus pest chance. If you try to get into farming because you see YouTube videos claiming that they make 50 million coins an hour farming, there's a very high chance that they're not telling you the fine print for the setup cost. Yes, you can still farm with gear worse than mine, but note that your rates just aren't going to be that high, common sense, especially if you have low overbloom. You can get away with 2000 farming fortune and 100 overbloom, but even then, the gear still might cost you at least a couple 100 million coins, not to mention the time that you would need to get all the Sawdust, copper, and milestones. If I had to guess what your rates would be, I would say it's roughly 30 to 33 million coins an hour without feast, and 40 million coins with. So after becoming pretty experienced in the farming department, I think it's safe to say that farming is a pretty good money making method. However, to really make money, you need to also spend a lot of coins on this setup. Don't expect to be making 50 million coins an hour going into farming without spending a lot of money. Sure, with my setup, I might get super lucky 1 hour and pull 70 million out of my ass during a feast, but on average, I make probably only 40 million coins an hour. Taking this average of 40 million coins an hour and my setup cost of 2.4 billion coins, it would take roughly 60 hours for me to break even. So is farming worth it? Honestly, it is if you have a lot of time on your hands or if you want to make some cash on the side while doing something else like watching a movie, show, or anime. I've made about 1.5 billion coins watching all of Wistoria, Wand and Sword, Elfie is a certified baddie by the way, and Vinland Saga. Just be wary that you can't just farm, you actually need to do pest farming as well, because killing them makes a lot of money. I originally went into it thinking that I'll just make a lot of money by clicking 2 buttons, but you actually need 3 buttons. The suck box and the pest hunter equipment was definitely worth the investment. Pro tip, farming with one hand lets you maximize efficiency with your other hand, allowing you the capability of doing a multitude of tasks. My lawyer has advised me not to say more. Also, Hypixel admins just released on alpha a completely reworked suck box, and I just crafted it a week ago for 130 million coins. Fuck! Oh yeah, and let me just armor mog the guy who said he had better gear than me. Watch this. Now this setup is worth 3 billion coins.